Okay, Jim Howard here in Fort Worth, Texas, April 10th, 2012. I'm using my Blue Snowball microphone again. I like the sound, but in the past I've had people saying that the audio was too low. These microphones, I think you're supposed to be up like this on it. I just don't know whether I want to be doing videos like that. Okay, I want to make this real quick. Wanted to comment about a few things. I see that Rick Santorum is suspending his campaign. The other thing I wanted to comment on, I saw a video, I don't know whether it was a link from YouTube, or a link, I don't know if it's on YouTube, I haven't searched for it. A dog, a mother dog, her puppy is in the swimming pool, can't get out, and the mother dog jumps in, a retriever, jumps in and uses its head and everything to push the puppy to the side of the pool and gets the puppy where the puppy's up, and it's hanging by its paws like that, but the puppy can't get up, and the mother dog goes around on the pool so it can get out, takes the steps to get out of the pool, comes over and then pulls the puppy, with its mouth. The mother pulls the puppy up and then pulls it away from the pool. People are commenting, well, the person taking the video, why didn't they go rescue the puppy? But a cute video. Wanted to comment on, let's see, I put that on my blog, that, whoops, need to go back to my blog. George Zimmerman, I read on the web that he had set up a website to get money for his defense fund, and I expect we're going to be hearing a lot of screaming about that. But I can understand the guy, he got kicked out of school because the school was afraid of violence and people coming there or whatever. I don't know whether he had to quit his job, but he can't go to his job. He's had to move. He's in hiding. And apparently other people are collecting money for him, but he's not receiving any of the money that people are collecting. So if somebody's going to be collecting money, he ought to be collecting himself. I don't have a problem. I don't have a problem with him, requesting donations or whatever, but I think there'd be a lot of screaming about it. What's interesting is I read the blogs, or wherever I saw, I don't know whether it was CNN, but the people described what he said on his site, and what the site looked like. But by the time I clicked on it, it takes you to where it's parked. The domain name is parked at GoDaddy.com. So I don't know whether somebody's hacked his site, or whether he had second thoughts and took it down, or whether GoDaddy or somebody had second thoughts. I don't know. It'd be interesting to find out. The other thing, I need to go back to kill that page. I tell you, I'm stupid. What else did I want to comment on? Oh, I'm not a sports fan, but Aussie Gullen, who is the manager of the Miami Marlins, I guess that's a baseball team. Apparently he made had an interview with Time, I think it was, Time magazine, and he said in Spanish, "I respect Fidel Castro. You know why? A lot of people have wanted to kill Fidel Castro for the last 60 years, but that son of a bitch is still there." Well, I lived in Miami for 5 years, and he had to apologize and sort of say he was misquoted in a way, and the translation, I lived in Miami for 5 years, and there's a Republican that took a little bit of heat. He went to, or also refused to go, a politician, refused to go to Miami, or no, I think he did go to Miami, and he said Miami was a third world city, and it is. The Cuban influence has just, I think, been I lived there 5 years. If you want to live in someplace, city, I mean, if you want to live in Florida, okay, maybe, but if you don't speak Spanish, don't live in Miami. Everybody speaks Spanish. You go into stores, you go into McDonald's or Burger King or whatever, and there may not be anybody there who speaks English. I don't look Hispanic. I don't speak Spanish, unfortunately. Everybody would just come up and start talking Spanish to me. They didn't come up and try to find out whether I spoke English or Spanish. They just come up and started speaking Spanish. The cable guy came to install cable. He didn't speak any English at all. Well, I think he knew 2 words. He knew internet and television. Those are the only 2 words that he knew. I worked a couple jobs in Miami. One was worked at CompUSA, and that was fine. No problems there. Worked worked mall security for a year. And a lot of the guys that I worked with supposedly spoke English, but they really only understood 20 or 30% of what was being said, but they pretended like and then they couldn't communicate. They had problems communicating, and especially if they had to write a report. And the Cubans, I think, have just, I guess it wouldn't be racist, but it would be prejudiced or whatever. I think the Cubans have been really destructive to Miami and to Florida. They came from Cuba and they took over, which is natural for anybody, group to do that if you can. They came and they took over, and they've influenced our national politics, and they've kept us in hostage. We couldn't, no politician wants to say, well, let's improve the relations with Cuba. You can't. You'll lose the electoral votes for, you may lose a presidential election. They've just held us hostage for all these years. Fine if they wanted to come here, but they've created, I think, problems for us politically. We shouldn't have a problem with Cuba. We should have been able to work out a deal with Cuba. We shouldn't have, and it would have been good for Cuba. It would have been good for the United States. It would have been really actually good for these people who came from Cuba. But I think I'm prejudiced against Cubans in Miami. And eventually, anyway, back to the subject. I can understand because of the situation down there where you don't dare say anything like that, and the baseball team, if that's a baseball team, is afraid that people will boycott them or they'll, But this is the United States of America. You ought to be able to say, if you want to say, I hate Fidel Castro, fine. Now, of course, that's not a problem in Miami. If you want to say, I love Fidel Castro, you should be entitled to do it. And, in fact, a lot of even Americans won't agree with me, but if you want to embrace communism, say, hey, I love communism. I think we ought to have a communist society. You should be able to do that. Fine. I mean, you're that's not correct, and it's foolish, but you should be able to do it. We have freedom of speech. We're supposed to, but not if you're in Miami, or not if you're in Florida. When it comes to anything to do with Cuba, you have to filter it through what the Cubans have come to Florida. What they want. Let me go off that subject. But I guess I can't say I'm not prejudiced, because I am on the subject of that. And I commented about Zimmerman. There was something else I wanted to mention, And I'm looking at the CNN website to see if I can jog my memory. And I can't. Let me go to my blog. Florida. Oh, just real quick on this. A Republican congressman, a senator, called the President of the United States stupid. My problem with that is I can remember just back a few years ago when Bush was president that Fox News was saying, oh, Bush is president of the United States. You can't say anything bad about. How dare these Democrats say something bad about the president of the United States? Well, that's un-American. You don't say something bad. And they were attacking, forget her name, but her son died in Iraq. So she was a Gold Star mother, and she was out protesting, against the president and picketing and all that type of stuff. And I remember Fox News saying, why, she has absolutely no right. You can't say something bad about the President of the United States. Well, how can you, he is the President of the United States. You don't say something. And now here, you got people saying, that the President is stupid. We need to respect the President of the United States. Sure, you're going to have disagreements with him. You're going to have political positions that are different. But we need to respect the President of the United States no matter who it is, and we need to, respect the office of the President of the United States. And whenever these type of things come up or something happens, I always think if the situation were reversed, what would Fox News and the Republicans say? And then that's when I get pissed off when they, they say one thing one day and then something different the next day. So, did you see the story? It was on the Digital Journal. I'm sure it's other places. Pornography, everybody is watching it, statistics say. Anyway, they give the statistics and everything, and it's the number of people that are watching pornography is just unbelievable. And those people are not, they're not, because of the numbers and the statistics, they're not all Democrats. They got to be a lot of Republicans, and they got to be a lot of born-again, Christians who are pontificating about how evil our society is and everything, and they've got to be making up large numbers of that too, but it's really amazing. Of course, I think we all knew that, but statistically, just about everybody's watching pornography. That's where I'm going to end this little story. That what better place could you leave than talking about pornography, huh?